Hello dear students, welcome to the second part of chapter number 1 of class 10 geography, that is resources and development. In the previous chapter, in the previous part, we discussed about that what are resources, what does development of resources mean, interdependence of technology, human, nature, how technology helps human to interact with the nature and converting it into a resource. After that, we saw the classification of resources on the basis of origin, on the basis of ownership, on the basis of status of development, and finally we reached to a topic that we have created some problem by the indiscriminate use of resource by man. We have created some problems. Now the question is why these problems were created. The answer is many resources got depleted because of exploitation of resources. For example, forest. We have cut forest. As you can see, the animals, the wild animals, very often they reach to the city outskirts or village outskirts. Why? Because of lack of forest. We have cut down the forest rigorously. This is what you call is indiscriminate use of resource by man. Resources got accumulated in the hands of few people only, and thus it divided the society into rich and poor. Means those who are having surplus of resources, they are rich, and those who are not having any of the resources, they are poor. It has also resulted in various other forms, that is global warming and ozone layer depletion. Day by day, the temperature of earth, every year we come to hear that the temperature, average temperature of the earth is rising. Ozone layer is getting depleted. Environmental degradation is also one among them. So why? Just because of indiscriminate use of resource by man. And the only solution to this problem is sustainable development. Now the question is, what is sustainable development? If I talk about sustainable development, students, it means a development should take place without damaging the environment, and development in the present should not compromise with the need of the future generation. It shouldn't compromise with the need of the future generation. Many of the times you might have seen the advertisements where it is shown that switch off lights and fan when not in use. When red light is on, kindly switch off your vehicle. Because of environmental degradation, we have to think about sustainable development. And what are those environmental degradation which has resulted in sustainable development? Acid rain, climate change are some transcontinental issues. Transcontinental issues means suffered by the whole world. Today, environmental protection is a major issue which is taken seriously by almost all the countries. Land degradation affects the agricultural productivity of the land as well as food security also. Addition of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere is responsible for increase in temperature. It affects all the parts of the world. Pollution of water has affected the water supply almost everywhere in the world. Pollution of air has increased respiratory diseases in people of all the ages. Yes, previously we used to see that only the people of age above 50 they were having respiratory diseases, but nowadays we find that a 5-year-old child is also suffering from some of the respiratory disease. Why? Because of pollution of air. So sustainable development is the only cure to it. Again I repeat, the economic development which does not damage the environment and at the same time takes care of the needs of the future generation is called sustainable development. Now, how it can be practiced? By minimizing the use of water, harvesting of rainwater to meet water requirements, reusing as recycling of water, treating hot water and effluents before releasing them in river or ponds by the industries. Overdraining of groundwater needs to be checked by the government. Fitting smokestacks in the factories means just the smoke which comes out of the chimney. They need smokestacks, filter type of that, filter. Instead of coal, oil or gas can be used. Instead of coal, oil or gas can be used because coal produces harmful gas. Almost all machineries should be redesigned to increase energy efficiency and reduce noise. One of the best example is BS4, BS6 engines, which is introduced in India. However, we are late, but we are doing good. BS4, BS6 engines. In that, increase energy efficiency and it is reducing the noise also. Challenge of sustainable development requires integration of economic development with environmental concerns. So this is all about sustainable development. Now, since we have realized that now we need to conserve the resources. Now, to conserve the resources means proper utilization of resources. Proper utilization of resources. And for that, what is required? Yes, resource planning is required. Now, what is resource planning? Resource planning is a technique or skill of proper utilization of resources. It is a technique or skill to utilize the resources properly. Simple. Now, it has 3 stages. First of all, you need to identify and list the resources. Means identification and listing of resources. And what comes under that? Surveying. You have to survey, mapping where actually it is located, and the measurement of qualities and quantities. Yes, we should know what and in what amount it is present and what is the quality of the resource. That it falls under the identification and listing of resources. Surveying means to survey where it is, mapping actually where it is located, the measurement of the qualities and the quantities. Kitni quality mein hai, how much quality is there, and the quantity also. Once these things are done, Second plan is planning for exploitation. Means to develop a planning structure with suitable technology. Which technology should be used to exploit that resource, to use that resource, proper technique of proper utilization, skill and institutional setup. And once this is completed, third, that is C part, match resource development plans with national development plans. What is actually required by the country? Indian resource development depends on technology, quality of human resources, and historical experiences of the people. So this is how resource planning is done: identification and listing of resources, planning for exploitation, and matching the resource development with national development plans. Now we come to know that why it is important. What is the importance of resource planning in India? Why it is important? Resource planning is important because it is necessary, because for the balanced development of India. Why I am saying balance? We can easily recognize that some of the states are rich in certain resources, but they are poor in other resources. Likewise, if we talk about Rajasthan, it is poor in water resources, but it is rich in solar and wind energy. If you talk about Madhya Pradesh, here you can find that it is rich in many resources, but Ladakh is poor in resources. Madhya Pradesh is rich in iron ore, coal mines, coal deposits are there. If we talk about the states of Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh, Odisha and Andhra Pradesh, they are rich in minerals and coal deposits. Arunachal Pradesh has an abundant water resource, but due to lack of infrastructure, they have not been developed. Ladakh is a cold desert area, but it is poor in resources. So imbalance is there. What we see is imbalance. So to make it balanced, resource planning is required. On the other hand, wastage of resources can be avoided by planning. Environmental pollution can be reduced. Over-exploitation of resources can be avoided. How? Just by resource planning. Now, how to conserve the resources? Conservation of resources means protection and preservation of resources is known as conservation. The methods of conservation vary from one resource to another. Like if you talk about conservation of fossil fuels, coal, and if you talk about your oil, gas, it varies from one resource to another. Some common method of conservation are sustainable use or using resource efficiently for use by future generation, treatment of waste like recycling, and checking irrational consumption and overutilization. Just now I said that rich and poor, it has divided the society into rich and poor. Many resources are non-renewable and exhaustible. If we conserve them, we can use them for a longer period of time. Conservation of resources help us to reduce wastage. It will help in economic progress. Resource conservation help us to protect the environment also, if we conserve it. For example, the Bishnoi tribe of Rajasthan has helped many wildlife and bird sanctuaries in conserving plants and animals. Similarly, the scientists are working in the regional research laboratory at Jammu have helped in conserving many rare Himalayan flowers. The farmers in a village in western UP made their own contribution to construct a check dam which helped to conserve underground water resources. Their wells now have water throughout the year. This is how we have done in the conservation of resources. So, resources need to be conserved. Now, it has taken attention of the world also. In 1992, Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, it witnessed the Convention on Biological Diversity, where on the other hand, Agenda 21 was also there, where the world society, they recognized that yes, we need to conserve our resources. How? Why? Because of environmental degradation. Some of the important points of this summit, Rio Earth Summit 1992, it was held in June 1992. More than 100 heads of the states means nation, met in Rio de Janeiro in Brazil for the first International Earth Summit. And why it was organized? For addressing urgent problems of environmental protection and socio-economic development. The leaders signed the Declaration on Global Climatic Change and Biological Diversity. The Rio Convention endorsed the Global Forest Principles and adopted Agenda 21. Now the question is, what is Agenda 21? You can see on your screen. It was established at the 1992 United Nations Conference on Environmental and Development in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. And Agenda 21 is a commitment to sustainable development which was agreed by many of the world's government. So two things, Rio Earth Summit 1992 and Agenda 21. Here you can see the Agenda 21. One major objective of the Agenda 21 is that every local government should draw its own local Agenda 21 to conserve the resources. And yes, just now I told you about Bishnoi tribe, I told you about regional research laboratory, I talked about the people of village in western Uttar Pradesh. What they have done? This is their own local Agenda 21. All what I want to say is we need to conserve the resources, we need to plan the resources to save the Mother Earth. Now, the next question is, what is land degradation and why it is degrading? Continuous use of land over a long period of time without taking appropriate measures to conserve and manage it has resulted in land degradation. The natural system of land is also violated by human activities. and has also resulted in degradation of land. Now, if I talk about, this was a simple that I simply explained that what is land degradation. Let me give you some of the examples. Mining sites are abandoned after excavation work is done, leaving deep scars over burdening. In states like Odisha, Jharkhand, Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh, deforestation due to mining has caused severe land degradation. Mining, they leave that excavation just like that, and huge amount of deforestation has been there because of mining, and it has caused severe land degradation. Overgrazing in states like Gujarat, Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra is one of the main reason behind land degradation. Over irrigation and water logging led to increased salinity and alkalinity in the states of Punjab, Haryana, Western UP. Mineral processing like grinding of limestone for cement industry and calcite and soapstone for ceramic industry generate huge quantity of dust in the atmosphere. It also stops the infiltration of water into the soil. These are some of the reasons. One more, industrial effluents as wastes have become a major source of land and water pollution in many parts of the country. River Ganga, Yamuna in Delhi are some of the examples you can easily see. So these are some of the causes of land degradation. So what we need to do is, we need to conserve the land. And for land conservation measures, what we need to do, afforestation and proper management of grazing can help to check land degradation. Planting of shelter belts helps in checking the sand causing land degradation near the deserts. Overgrazing can be avoided and can be checked. Stabilization of sand dunes by growing thorny bushes can also check land degradation. Proper management of wasteland can be done. Control on the mining activities should be there. Proper discharge and disposal of industrial effluents and waste after treatment can reduce land and water degradation. Over irrigation should be stopped. New method of irrigation should be followed. Urban waste should be used for the production of biogas and biomanure. So these are some of the measures to conserve for land conservation. Moving towards the next topic, soil as a resource. Yes, a country like India, definitely yes, soil is a resource. Because the Indian economy basically depends on the farming activities, and soil play a major part. Soil is the most important resource which supports the life system on earth, as it is the medium of plant growth and act as a supportive system for different types of living organisms on earth. Soil is the most important renewable natural resource. It helps in providing food to this earth. Now, how this soil is formed? First of all, you need to see the soil profile. The figure is here in front of you. Humus. After that, a horizon is there, that is called topsoil. It is often rich in humus and mineral. Now B horizon, that is subsoil, poor in humus, rich in minerals. Weathered rock fragments, that is C horizon, little or no plant or animal life. And the last one is your D horizon, that is bedrock. This is all about soil profile. But now we will discuss that what are the factors which are responsible for soil formation. The first one is relief features, which are responsible for soil, how soil is formed. How soil is formed. So the first one is your relief feature. Altitude and slope determines the accumulation of soil. Means it includes altitude, relief, slope, as well as direction with respect to sunshine and winds. The south facing slopes in northern hemisphere receive more sunshine and have favorable conditions for plant growth. Similarly, windward slopes of Himalaya in east-west direction and those of Andes is a mountain range, Andes in north-south direction receive more rainfall and have luxuriant vegetation which promotes soil formation. So relief also plays an important role in formation of soil. Now if I talk about parent rock, it determines the color, texture, chemical properties, mineral contents. Means parent rock, from where it is derived. Like the integration of rock containing mineral constitutes the parent material for soil formation. Weathering of rock. It is obtained through the process of weathering of parent rock or the bedrock with the help of water and wind. You have seen river banks. So from where does that soil come? By the weathering of rocks with the flow of river. Next one is your climate. Without climate, weathering cannot take place. Climate has different effects on different types of rocks. Through temperature and precipitation, that is rainfall, it affects rate of weathering, decomposition of organic material, as well as the type and kind of vegetation in that area. We have seen alluvial soil, red soil, black soil. We'll discuss about that in the next part. But what I want to say, climate plays an important role in formation of soil. Now the next one is time. Soil formation is a time consuming process. Therefore, the rate of development of soil may greatly vary. Porous parent rock materials such as sedimentary rock promote rapid soil formation, and then igneous and metamorphic rock. Means sedimentary rocks, they promote rapid soil formation in comparison to igneous and metamorphic rock. Now, if I talk about organisms, this include both the living matter, that is plant and animal, as well as their remains. The decomposition of organic matter provides humus and bacteria to do the activity of mixing and shifting of soil materials. Microorganisms and vegetation affect the rate of humus formation. Means the living matter, that is plant and animal, and their remains. It helps in the formation of humus, which makes the soil fertile. So these are some of the 5 points, are the factors of soil formation. Here also you can see one slide I have prepared. Climate, topography, same thing, relief feature, nature of parent rock and vegetation. Now let us talk about how soil is formed. What is that called? The uppermost layer of earth's crust, which is loose, broken and useful for plants, is called soil. Soil consists of mineral matter. I have told you about in soil profile. Here you can see the soil profile. Such as sand, clay and organic matter such as humus, bacteria and earthworms. Soil is formed mainly due to the process of weathering. I told you about weathering of rocks. As a result of weathering, a layer of loose rock material is formed on the land surface. If this layer remains undisturbed for a long period of time, chemical, physical and organic changes take place in it. These changes lead to the formation of soil. This is how soil is formed. Weathering. You have to take care of this term. Now, types of soil. There are 6 types of soil. Alluvial soil, red soil, black soil, laterite soil, desert soil, mountain soil. That's it. 6 types of soils are there. In the next part, we'll discuss about each of the features, where they are found, everything I will tell you in the next part, that is part 3 of this chapter. Thank you, students. Have a nice day.